And one of the most bitter battles during the election campaign was for Bradford West. It pitted George Galloway against Labour newcomer Naz Shah and resulted in smears, online trolling and possible infringement of election law. In the end, Labour won and won comfortably, but is there any lasting damage? A warning, Joe Tidy's report contains flash photography.
The general election in Bradford West should have been straightforward. Just 3 years ago, George Galloway won a large 10,000 vote majority here in a by-election that shocked many. No more so than the Labour Party, who'd held the seat for more than 30 years. But Mr Galloway and his team still held nothing back.
Good afternoon, Manningham Lane. This is George Galloway. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is George Galloway asking for your support.
Hi, I'm Naz.
It's not clear how it got so personal between Mr Galloway and his Labour opponent. Newcomer Naz Shah was appointed late in the campaign, but her story of forced marriage at the age of 15 caught the public imagination. And then, at Nerley Hustings, this happened.
We have an absentee MP, and for me, the role of the MP in Bradford West is about being our voice in Parliament, but he's never there, as he's too busy earning laurels elsewhere.
You claimed, and gullible journalists believed you, that you were subject to a forced marriage at the age of 15. But you were not 15. You were 16 and a half. I have your nikah. I have your nikah.
It didn't take long for the marriage certificate incident to spread on the internet, both sides accusing each other of lying. Police say they're investigating the alleged smears on and offline, and the city was divided.
This is George Galloway.
Do you think that the campaign between George and his Labour rival has been quite fierce?
I've seen it as distasteful. A lot of dirty linen has been aired which didn't need to be.
Do you think it's just part of politics these days, or do you think it's something more?
Oh, I think it's a lot more. Yeah.
What, do you think it's quite bitter?
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
Tell your mum and dad you met me, yeah?
I've just spoken to a man in the street in the last school we're at who said that it's out of order, the tactics that perhaps Respect are using and Labour are using.
Well, of course, I don't know what tactics he's referring to, but the reality is, if you make your life story the central part of your election campaign, you're responsible for what happens next.
I've been speaking to people on the doorstep. They're sort of put off a little bit by all this.
Do you know what? People rightfully so, because at the end of the day, the policies, what you've got to do is look at the policies. Let's bring it back to policies. Let's look at what respect.
You say that, but actually, I've been with you all morning and you always talk about George before you talk about policies.
Well, no, because people need to know we've got somebody who doesn't vote on who doesn't vote on our issues.
The controversy continued into polling night. Mr Galloway reported to police for allegedly breaking election law with a tweet about voting. And after all of that, it wasn't even close. Naz Shah winning by well over 11,000 votes. Naz Shah has started another chapter in her story that had so many captivated. And as for Mr Galloway, he says he plans to enter the race for London Mayor. Joe Tidy, Sky News in Bradford West.